Hello, happy Friday. I hope it is a wonderful day wherever you are. It's cold, but it's sunny, and it's not as cold as it has been, so I'm taking it all as a win. Yeah. Thank you for your patience this morning. I found the last piece of my microphone. We're just going to move on. I was having a rather exciting morning. I'm like this morning. I'm very shaky, but in a good way. And then when I couldn't find something, I just suddenly thought, oh, calm yourself down before you start just making it worse. And so we had a collective deep breath in the live chat, and then presto changeo, I found it nice and calmly. So now let's have a look at what I've made in live streams this month. Let's have a look at the desk. You don't need to see my face anymore. All right, so we started the month off with 4 small photos and a trip to see witches at the National Theater. Then I've got a 4x6 from Carnaby and lots of circles. And this one that still needs journaling, that one needed black ink. That's still happening. I've got a list of things today to get these finished up, and I'm very excited about that. The one about Animal Kingdom and Harambe. So this just needs journaling. Maybe a bit of confetti after that's done. Stickers in an embroidery hoop. That's big. I think that's done. Anything I need to add to that? I don't think so. I think it's going to be like that. This one needs journaling, and this is not the kit. This was the special out-of-kit field trip live to celebrate the gigantic Patagotitan at the Natural History Museum. And a museum Monday because day off school. Amazing. Then this was from Monday. This also needs journaling. And this is the background that I originally planned to use with today's photos, but I didn't have printer ink. Today I have printer ink, but we went ahead and did this with the nighttime pool shot. And I'm really glad that worked out as it did, because I really like this page and how all of this came together. That it's one of those pages that's both really simple and really detailed at the same time, and I like it when that happens. So yeah, that was the last one. So all of those are available in videos here on the channel, and today we've got some smooth white cardstock because we're gonna try some mixed media stuff today. So today is like mixed media made easy. That's my plan. So we're going to try some things. We're going to make it very simple and accessible, and we're going to scrapbook board games. So I was going to scrap these photos on Monday, and then just to make it extra funny, you know how we've mentioned a few times this account, EasyCat? Books, games, now a bit of art journaling, scrapbooking. And we all had a happy little chat in the live chat here in DMs on Instagram that everyone just loved the joy that his account brings. Right. Never in a million years did I expect to get a DM from Jason to say he binged a couple of my live streams. Dude, this is like crazy. Anyway, so today, just because worlds are weird, I'm going to scrapbook board games because last weekend went away with my friends, and what do we do when we go away? We play board games and eat food, and sometimes swim in rapids. That's what we did. Those are the 3 activities of the weekend: board games, food, and rapids. My bruises have all, I think, healed up. I'm good. Everything's moving again. We're all good. So we'll talk as we go about what we played. Was there anything... I feel like everything we played was a game I'd never played before. We'll figure it out as we go. And some of those are going to be embarrassing if you're a board game geek, because I love a board game, but also have not enough time to play them. So there are some games that I knew I should have played by now that I hadn't, but this is why we do this. This is why we spend a whole weekend playing board games. So that's what I'm scrapbook today, and we're going to try out different mixed media techniques that are easy. Oh, that's funny because easy cat, but that wasn't planned. That's just how I roll. Anyway, because mixed media can be complicated, it can be artistry beyond belief, but it doesn't have to be. And if you're impatient, like me, then you want mixed media stuff that goes fast and simple and doesn't trash the whole house. Maybe it gets your hands messy. That's a little bit okay. But really accessible. That's where I am, because I just don't have the patience for techniques that take multiple days or even a whole day. I want to do them in one live stream where I don't want to do them at all. Know your boundaries. Those are mine. Okay, so I think that's everything. Let me do my speech, and then we're going to start putting stuff on paper. All right? So hi, my name's Shimelle. I teach online scrapbooking classes, design scrapbooking products, and help you use them to tell your stories in a creative way. It's not just my hobby, it is my job, and that means anytime I scrapbook on the internet, it's considered advertising, and legally, I need to make sure you're aware of that. Thank you for coming to watch my #advertising. I appreciate you being here, whether you are live, chatty, watch from Tomorrowland, quiet, craft, don't craft, thinking about coming back to craft, all of these things. You're welcome here, and you can find links in the description box below the video that will take you to the supplies I'm using this month, the supplies I'm using next month. If you want to get those and scrap along with me, you can totally do that. And classes that I teach and all that sort of stuff. Cool? Fabulous. Let's scrapbook. Right. Okay. So we have smooth white cardstock. Recommendations straight away. The things that I like. So today I am using Basil smoothies in coconut swirl. So this is my standard for white cardstock. I'm going to cut the branding strip off because actually it doesn't bother me while I scrap, but it bothers some of you. So I do this for you, mostly for Sarah. It makes Sarah very twitchy. Right, so smooth white cardstock and Basil marshmallow, or no, not marshmallow. Sorry, do not take that in. It's not marshmallow. That's different paper. This is coconut swirl from the Smoothies collection. And yes, we're getting near the end of the month, so the mess is closing in. Also, Christmas journal, all but done. I'm going to finish some journaling today, so everything's caving in, but we're going to be fine. Okay, so coconut swirl from Basil. Some shops will still sell it by the sheet, but I buy it in a pack of 25 at a time, and that's nice and easy. This is going to be less per sheet than the other one that I recommend because it's lighter. So this is thick enough for a lot of techniques, but it will warp with water, okay? Now, if you want to throw a lot of water on your paper and you don't want to add gesso and you don't want it to warp a lot, then you need the Vicky B Foundations paper. Vicky Bouton Foundations paper. It's thicker. It's still smooth. It's going to hold a lot more water before it starts to buckle. So, sorry, I was looking at the live chat. Out of sync for one person, but everybody else says it's okay. All right. So if you ever get out of sync audio to video and it's more than like a split second, then go out, refresh the page, come back in. You should be good. Okay. The Vicky B paper is thicker. It is amazing. It's also going to be more per sheet. So if you're trying a whole bunch of stuff and you want to try new things and you don't want to break the bank, then this paper is your friend because you can do a lot with it. But once you want to add more water and you want it to stay pretty much intact, then you want the Vicky B. Are we good? Also, the Vicky B packaging can be used in mixed media, and I will probably use some today. Have I got it in a good place? Normally I have this little spot where I keep it. Yes! Yes! Something's in the right place! Get it! All right. Oh, I should keep it in the right place till I'm ready because it's clear, so I'll lose it, like my phone case that's hiding somewhere in this room. I've just had to be really careful with my phone for like 6 weeks because I took the case off to film one day and it's clear and I can't find it. Yep. Welcome to my world. Okay. First up. Ready? First. Mixed media. We had this discussion a while back that I need to buy a new sprayer. Turns out maybe a little sooner than I thought. It's okay. I thought it was just going to hold up a little bit longer, but I guess it has decided to be done. Right, so anyway, a mat to protect my desk. If you don't have a mat like this, just put down something that doesn't matter if you get it messy. You know, like working on newsprint when you're a kid. But if you're going to spray water at it, keep in mind that that might soak through. So, you know, do what's going to be right for your work surface. Fabulous. Okay. So our first thing that we're going to do is to put down some color, and we are going to start with a lighter shade and then move to a darker shade in order to do that, okay? So in my photos here, I've got a lot of greens showing up in games that we played. So I'm going to build up greens in a background with 3 shades of ink. Now I use Distress Oxides for this stuff because I find that they are very forgiving for learning how to do stuff. There are so many different inks you can use, but I like having something that I can tell you, you're going to do all right with this. It's not going to be a huge learning curve. And that's why oxides are my happy, happy place, because they're very forgiving. You're working with an ink, and yet you can still kind of move stuff around and make other things happen. I looked at the screen that said Happy Australia Day and thought I should say Happy Australia Day, so apparently I said that it makes it happy. This is what happens when I have an exciting morning. Okay, so yes, Happy Australia Day, Happy Distress Oxide, trio of colors. So you could do this with any shade, any color, sorry. You want 3 shades of one color. So I've got Shabby Shutters, Mowed Lawn, and Rustic Wilderness, and I'm going to push this up a little bit so you can see the whole paper. So yeah, a light, a medium, and a dark. Cool? Doesn't have to be super dark, by the way. We could go, you know, a lighter shade that's somewhere in here. Okay. Right. You also need something to smush your ink onto. So that can be the actual mat itself, or if you don't have a mat like this, it's going to resist the ink. You can use your acrylic block. Yes, I have put those on and they were too big for what I needed them for. So at some point, I'm going to need to commit that to something because right now it's holding my block ransom. Okay, so we're going to squish like that. Yes. And we're going to do 3 shades. Now there are so many different ways you could do this. So you could splodge it directly onto something like the clear plastic. You could splodge it directly onto the mat and then press the paper onto it. These techniques are all kind of related, and you can, there's not one that's right. Okay, so right now that if I put that onto the paper, it's full strength ink, so it's going to go on very defined, and it's going to look like 3 boxes. I want to soften that up. So I'm going to add just plain old water. I would spray this, but my sprayer has decided to retire and go to a farm. So I'm having to tap it. That's the only reason I'm tapping. Then, something that the ink is also not going to stick to. Could be your acrylic block. Could be a bit of packaging. Can also be soft plastic packaging, like what these paper clips are in. Can be something textured if you want to. You want to use bubble wrap, you can use bubble wrap. So now I'm going to pick up my ink like that, and I want to get rid of the square shape of the ink pad, so I'm going to move it around like that. And then I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to move and press down. That's all, okay? Don't overthink. Now, I have 3 shades. So I'm going to go through these lighter ones first, and I can go on a kind of diagonal here because I could go medium, dark, and this would then go back to the lighter shade. Yeah? If it starts to get too claggy, it feels too thick, add more water. If it starts to be too pale, add more ink. It would be so much easier if that would spray. So I'm going to need more ink here, but I just wanted to show you that even without a lot of ink, it can work really well. Yeah, I don't need more ink on this one just yet. So the difference here being that if I move it, I'm not just stamping the splodge. So let me show you. Here's my splodge, and I could put it straight on here and just press down. And essentially, I'm just going to get a stamp of the splodge. Don't worry about this, it's gonna be fine. Okay, but I want something like this where I have more solid and organic shapes. Now I do need more ink at this point. So if I add movement, press and move, I'm not getting just the stamped shape. See, I've got straighter lines up here, so let's come back up here and move. Because this is one of those things that makes oxides lovely. You can move it as you're putting it down. It's not just going to stay exactly where it was. Yeah? Okay, so I need to keep my zigzag here of the lighter color coming down the page. Same idea. Don't be afraid of more water. It's not going to hurt anything. What color are the inks? Shabby Shutters, Mowed Lawn, Rustic Wilderness. Okay, and then either go off your edges both sides or don't go off your edges on either side. That, as a rule of thumb, that's going to help. So we're going to take this all the way to the bottom down here. And the same on the top. So say I've got just this little last bit and I want to stretch that ink. Add more water. There's going to be a surprising amount of pigment still left there. Okay, right. My lightest shade, done. Let's go to the middle now. If I'm going light to dark, I don't really need to clean anything because I'm in the same shade family and the light is just going to blend in with the dark one. Now, I could just leave this and not move it. So I'm going to show you ones with quite a nice one. That's what it would look like if I don't add any movement. So you might prefer that. And if I do want to add movement, I'm going to get this. Now, as my colors get more saturated, I have more contrast from my white cardstock background, right? So this, as you get more concentrated, it's going to be more obvious, ergo less forgiving. So your lightest shade, you can get away with kind of whatever shape you want. But then you're going to start to see things in this. So you might be able to, you know, kind of like spotting things in the clouds. It gets more obvious to see shapes in the abstract the darker the color gets, because it's more, there's more contrast against the white background. Yeah, so the difference between big white defined clouds on a very saturated blue sky versus wispy little white clouds on a very pale blue sky, which is easier to hunt for pictures in the clouds. Same thing is going to happen with your ink on paper. Okay, so this one's going to be dark, and then I'm going to have a light here and a dark here, and a light here and a dark here. Move. You know, I'm probably going to end up with photos there because I'm really liking this one. So that'll probably mean it's covered up. Now, I do want a little bit of the colors to overlap. I'm not wanting it to be a harsh checkerboard. So it's okay for things like this to happen. And also, that's another reason that I like oxides. In some inks, you just get mud if you do that. And in some color combinations, you might get mud. But monochromatic, just shades within the same color with oxides, you're not going to get mud. It's always going to look nice. This is feeling a little bit too straight lined for me, so I'm going to try to add a bit more movement over here to soften it up. Okay, we need a bit more ink to do this last bit there, but I won't need a lot, so don't go over the top. Oh, Rusty Wilderness is a great ink, Joanne. Yeah, I use it a lot. Definitely one that you will find plenty of uses for. It's dark, but it's not so dark that you can't tell that it's green. It doesn't have a brown edge to it at all. It's definitely color. Works in Christmas, works in summer. Oh, for you, that's the same thing. Sorry. But hey, it's a good thing. Oh, so I've ended up with a straight line here. What do I do about that? More. The answer is always more. So here we go. More water as well. Just soften up that last edge. Then we're going to do Rusty Wilderness on the other side here. So if you've got an edge that really looks too much like a straight line, prepare by looking through what you've got and don't focus on a straight line. Yeah, so I want to come in here and then move. Because if you end up with a straight line that you can see, then you're definitely going to get that there. Yeah. Okay. Now, this side, going with the darker, I can tell straight away I need more water than what I've put down. So let's add a bit more. Right off that bottom edge there. You can move in straight lines, you can move in circles. Doesn't always need to be the same. pour water on the mat. Yes. Maybe a little bit over the top. We'll make it work. Okay, so you can see what happens if there's a lot more water, because I've made this very wet now. You're going to get more like a watercolor wash, but you're still going to get that concentrated pigment. Now, this side has gone more organic. This side has gone in a straight line, and it's because I'm right-handed and I'm holding the edge of the paper like this. So you know what my answer is? Turn it around! I mean, you could also just make yourself the other hand, but I'm not so great at that. So we're going to do this. And so that we've got some of the inside edge coming on that right hand side. Now I was going to show you this next and I accidentally went straight into it. So with plenty of water here, take your darker color and go to the lighter sections and you'll have droplets. But we can also layer over the darker color. So first we can add a few darker droplets anyway. But we can also re-ink that lightest shade. Pour a little bit of water there so that we're more water than we were using at the beginning. And drip that onto the darker colors. Come on. Oh. Yes, you could use an eyedropper. Yes, you could use a paintbrush. There are many ways you could do droplets. So if this feels like, oh my goodness, why are you picking up water with the edge of something that's sharp? You can do that. Right, and so now you'll start to see the oxides are going to give you this effect with the lighter color on top of the darker color. You can also put plain water, just no ink, straight on top. Now, here comes the part that makes some people cry, because yes, you could reuse this ink and not waste it. You could make lots of things with it, but you know what I can make with it? A mess! So I'm going to tidy it up before I go along. Otherwise, you know what I'll do? I'll put like my photo down on it. I'll put my hand in it. I'm not so clever like that. So, it's all right. So the last thing I'm going to do here is just a bit of plain water. Okay. Now, what is the plain water going to do? So we could just dry it and it will just be a little splot. That's totally a technical design term, splot. Or we can go in and pick up some color. And you'll get, when you pick up the water, obviously on the bit that's just white paper, it's not going to do anything. But here you'll be able to see that some of the color comes up and gives you a whole different shade. Okay, So now I'm to a point where I want to do more stuff, but my paper is wet. What do I do? Well, you have some options. If you want to be patient, you can leave it to dry. If you want to be impatient, you hit it with heat. Yes? So we know which camp I sit in, but we also know that I think forwardly enough to plug in my heat tool. Let's find out. I did! Oh, pass, Shimelle, you're great. Okay, but you also want to protect your desk. So I have this mat, which does certainly some protecting, but I also put cork underneath because we like to keep Maleficent happy. Right, this is going to make a noise, just letting you know. It's not super loud, but if you're in headphones, it may be weird. Okay. Don't want to get too close to the paper. If you haven't used one of these before, you can scorch your paper, but it's pretty forgiving. Also, different brands are different temperatures, so there's a little learning curve with the one you've got. And once you know how close you can get, then you're all right. So it's kind of a, if you know, you know, for your own heat tool. Some of them are really cute, come in like colors to match your craft room. And then some of us have the ones that come from the hardware store. So this one is sold not as a craft tool. It's sold as something for like pipes or something. I don't know. It has never been used in this house for anything other than crafts. Oh, I did use it one time to try and dry some glue on some DIY. I think that's it. Okay, if you start to get places where you had a puddle of water and you've got a big dent or something, also dry from the other side, it will help. It won't completely eliminate your warping. You can't do that, but it will be better. I kind of want to scorch the paper on purpose just to show you what it would be, but also I don't want the fire brigade to have to come here. I think Cassie would tell me off, at least Cassie. Okay, so we got our darker greens over here, we got our lighter greens over here, and we got this palest green keeping it all together in the middle. Cool? Right. Cork can go back to its place. I'm just gobsmacked that it was actually where it was supposed to be. Have I got any spaces that feel completely wet? This is a little more wet than the rest, but we're definitely good to move on. So that's idea number one that you can try. But also, it wouldn't have to be this sort of checkerboard. It doesn't have to be kind of squarey inspired. It doesn't have to be this. That technique of taking the ink and putting it on to the background, and you can see you've got different options. You can go with quite a dry ink so that you're not going to have to emboss it, or you can go all the way into what looks like a watercolor wash. You can control what you would like in stuff like that. Fabulous. Oh, Jean said they sell these for paint stripping. Of course they do. You can tell how much I have done with it because I couldn't even tell you that. I love that you knew. Okay, idea number 2, stenciling. So what kind of stencil shall we try? So a stencil is a super easy way to use your ink. This feels a little board gamey to me. What do you think? As if I ever have needed to match my supplies to the theme. It makes no difference to me. So I could do, okay, I'm gonna give you 3 choices. I can do classic polka dots. I can do triangles, or I can do this kind of quilt pattern. I'm going to let you vote in the live chat. So let's start a poll. Which stencil? Polka dots, triangles, quilt. Okay, so here are your options. Let me find something that has some contrast so you can see them clearly. Come here, good old purple cardstock. Polka dots looks like that. It's Dottie. Triangles look like this. And the quilt pattern looks like this. I believe the second two are both Vicky B, and I know the first one is scrapbook.com. I think both of those are Vicky's. Quilt. Oh, buttons on the quilt stencil. Oh yeah, I can see how you would see buttons there. Okay. Right, quilt it is. It is zooming on ahead. So we will end that and we will do some quilty stenciling. So I want to show you both with a brush and with a booper. So I think I'll go this brush. What kind of level are we talking here? So just checking how much ink is loaded in that brush. It's kind of a pale orange at the moment. So I have two brushes and two brushes only. Warm tones, cool tones. I wash it in the sink with shampoo when I decide that I do that and too much comes out for me to be able to do anything. So I'm going to add in some kind of golden yellow here, a wild honey, for our Australian friends. Right. Now, should I show you the right way or the way that I do it? So, the right way, if you don't want your stencil to move, you need to secure it, okay? So here's the right way. Hello, Mickey. Washi tape, put it in place. You can use just normal masking tape, but A, I don't have normal tape, and B, this is cuter. Rita suggests Murphy's oil soap to clean your brushes. Cool. And just gonna put a bit more tape at the bottom here. Okay, keep in mind that this stencil is square and I don't want it to look like that when I put it down, okay? If you find it really hard to control the brush and not go all the way to the edge, take a scrap bit of paper, tear it, sorry Amy, it's a necessity, tear it and tape that over the top of your stencil. And then you won't have a harsh line anymore because you'll have a natural organic torn line. And you can do that to all four sides if you want. That's your shortcut if you find it hard to control kind of where things are going with the stencil. Ready? Now, you want to do this in multiple colors? You're going to need a smaller tool and you're going to need to be patient. What do we know about me? No, all one color. So what I want to do is to have more concentrated color here where it's toward the center and it's over my already inked background. and fade out to the white. So when I've just inked my brush, I want to go here in the area that I wanted to be more saturated. When I feel like I've got most of that down, then I start to bring it further away in round brush strokes. But I'm not going to any of these edges. Go back, re-ink, go to just the section that you want most concentrated, and don't move it this time. Just do that area. Carefully pull up your stencil. You'll have something like that. Now, this is a repeating pattern, which means I can find where it was, the pattern, and repeat. Keep in mind, however, that you may have moved your stencil right or left in order to find the repeat. It depends on what stencil and where you've put it. So your edges may be a little different. Don't just go by what you have colored here, because you need to look at what you've already put down. But my same rules apply for wanting my more saturated color over here. So I'm going to start here with a just loaded brush and then work my way out, avoiding edges of the stencil. If you start to work out and go, oh, that had too much color, move yourself back in. Okay, go through these a bit more until you've pushed a bit more ink out of it, because I don't do one without the other unless I'm having a really odd day. Same thing, but now I'm going off the top. And in just a moment, when we pick this up, we're going to talk about how it went over the green without becoming mud. Last little bit, just in this little highlight zone there. Okay, so that's wild honey I used there. So, see how the green underneath is still nice and clean? The two inks did not just mold into one color. I've got distinct layers of color. That's a nice thing about oxides. That part is really nice and simple and easy. Okay, so that's stenciling with a brush and one color. And look how it actually looks like multiple colors. But all that is putting more ink in one section so that that bit is concentrated, and then letting go toward the right hand edge so that it's less concentrated. Okay, but I also want to show you blending through a stencil with a booper. So let's get the same color going on a booper. Same color. So if you're new to tools like this and you go to search for booper, sadly, it's not going to help you. It should, but it's not. Because technically they're called ink applicators. It's a terrible name. They're called boopers, and these are called booper heads. And you're a booper head. There we go. Those are the rules if you're in my house. That's what they're called. So while I only have two brushes, one warm and one cool, I have half a dozen boopers and a full set of booper heads to my ink collection. Yeah, so every oxide has its own booper head, and then they hang in a frame in my cupboard. Yeah. Okay. So same thing, but the other side. In fact, I'm just going to turn the paper around so that I can do literally the same thing. And which way did I work this? I had it that way. So I know I'm going off the top now, so we're going to go this way. I'm looking at how much space I left there versus how much space I'll have here if I follow what I inked. So I think we want to go around there. Boopers, you ink by booping. When you ink oxides into a brush or a booper, don't just go in one place. Think of it like mixing up a bottle of paint that has separated. You need to push all around because that's one of the things that makes oxides a little different. Their formula kind of needs mixing. It's why they don't come in a mini ink pad. You can only get full-size ink pads in the oxides because they can't make the mixiness of it. So with the booper, if you go, you can do this, okay? There's a few things that are different. So the reason we call it a booper is this, and you know, how old was he then? 5, 6? When I had a co-host during lockdown and he went boop, boop, boop. And there we go, boopers. So you're gonna get cleaner stenciling with this tool by booping straight up and down and maybe a little twist or just up and down, but that's gonna take forever. So you will get the hang of having a little twist here. You can do the big circles. The reason I don't, number one, it's going to make your booper heads last not so long because you're going to constantly be scraping that foam against the plastic of the stencil. So it is going to get a bit more worn out, where brushes are designed to do that and it's not going to bother them. So there's that. There's also, it seems like it wouldn't work this way. But specifically these kinds of brushes, not specifically this brand or anything, but these kind of brushes that have like a gazillion teeny tiny soft bristles packed together. When you do this, they don't really get caught underneath and create straight ink marks. Now the old-fashioned coarser haired stencil brushes that we used to use where you had to like pounce through them, those will. It's very easy for the pieces of the brush hair to get underneath and give you funny little lines that you weren't expecting. It's not that you'll get lines with a booper, but you might just get things just not as sharp as you want. So if you do big circles, it's not going to be quite as sharp as the same with a brush, with that kind of brush. So you can still do the same thing though. This is just the movement. So press and twist, and then as I go out, I'm not pressing as hard. That's how I fade the ink out. Then if I want this bit to be really feathery, I go ahead and just brush along there. Don't push hard because you're going to scrape up your foam and you're going to get too much pigment through. Okay? So different things, but similar result. Yeah. Line her back up. More concentrated over here. You can still go back and layer your color to get the more concentrated line, just like we did before. Keep in mind this is going over the darker green, that one over the lighter green, so it is going to look a little different based on that. That's not based on the tool, that's just based on the colors underneath. Okay, so now I don't need to re-ink as I go over to where I want it to fade. Don't re-ink that booper. Keep in mind, boopers will hold more ink over time and oxides don't really dry out. So if you haven't used a booper head for 6 months and you pick it up, it may still well have color in it. And I don't clean booper heads. I clean the brushes, but I have one for each ink color in terms of booper heads so that I don't have to clean them. They're not very expensive. Investing in a set of boopers is probably a lot less expensive than a set of brushes. But you could have one set of brushes, and that would probably be your cheapest option if you needed to save up, yeah? Because you could do it with just this and no boopers ever, but you do a lot of washing. Now, I will say they take a while to dry. I've never tried to dry them with a hairdryer, even though I wash them with shampoo. So I don't know if anybody in the live chat has habits that you would suggest for drying them. But there we go. Okay, so if I put them up close, you will see once it's all done and dusted, there's not a huge difference that you can tell. So I think it's a case of two things: personal preference and budget. Oh, maybe also space. I don't have space for a full set of brushes and a full set of boopers. The boopers take up less space because I can put them flat in the frame, the booper heads, and I just have a set of handles. Where I feel like the brushes, if I have more than a couple that can lay in the drawer, I'd need like a thing to put them in. And there definitely are companies that make things to put them in. But you'd need the desk space for that, and I don't have that. So that works for me. Okay, so that's technique 2 in terms of mixed media. Should we have a look at the photos, and I can cut them out, and we can talk about board games, and then we'll do some some actual scrapping. Okay. We're having kind of a longish session today, but I don't know how, we're not super long yet. We'll see how we go. We're long enough that the coffee's already cold, but it's okay. Right. Bend and snap, and then what did we play this last weekend? What were we playing last weekend? This time last weekend, I was just about to get ready and go. Okay, so first game of the weekend. What was the first game that we played? Dixit. No, Carcassonne we played first. I think Carcassonne was the first thing we played. I don't know how I've never played Carcassonne, and I don't know how I've never played Dixit. I hadn't ever played either of them. We played 2 different rounds of Dixit. A normal, like, non-themed version, and we played Disney Dixit. Of course we did. So how does Dixit work? Dixit, you get a big card deck full of different pieces of art, right? The Disney one is not just like screen grabs from the animation cells. It is new art inspired by Disney films for the game, okay? And you each get a hand of cards, and you each take a turn being it. And when you are it, you look at your cards, you choose one, and you come up with a word or a phrase that goes along with it. Okay? Then everybody else has to take that phrase, interpret it to the cards they have in their hand, and put down one card. Then you put them all around the board like this. And everybody, all at the same time, guesses which one was the original card that inspired that phrase. Which one was put down by the person who was it. Yeah? If you're it and everyone guesses your card, because you were too specific. If no one guesses your card, because you were off the mark. But if at least one, but not everybody, guesses your card, you're a winner. And if somebody guesses your card that you put down when you were not it, you also get a point for that. And then the first person, this is the point counter in the middle, the first person to the end is your winner. So that was good fun. And Disney Dixit, I won despite being nil points on the first round. Because I had a painting from, like, inspired by Prince and the Pauper. So Mickey Pauper and Mickey Prince, and with a crown and a throne and all of this. And I thought, use that one straight away and use royalty, because somebody else, multiple people have got to have Disney princesses, right? Well, it turned out, because the art is not just like taken from it, it's inspired by, there were Disney princesses aplenty, but none of them shouted the word royalty. There were no tiaras in the shot. There was nobody with like a castle or anything like that. They were all princesses doing their other things. So it was terribly obvious that royalty was Prince and the Pauper Mickey. So I thought, oh no, I'm first up. I've got nil points. This is never going to be my game. And then I got really good at tricking people. So I was just racking up a point at a time when I wasn't it. And almost every round, somebody would guess that whatever I had put down was the one that it was supposed to be. So in the end, I won Disney Dixit. Whoop, whoop. Then we also played the same game, but without the Disney theme. Yeah. Just kind of different random bits of artwork. I will say, oh, hi, Amy. I did not tear paper while Amy was driving to school. Have a wonderful school day, Amy. May all your classes behave well, even though it's a Friday. If they don't, tell them I'm disappointed in them. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. Okay. Right. So what did we play next? We played Carcassonne. Oh, I wanted to say about Disney Dixit. I kind of want to buy it just to have all the art and frame it on the wall. They're like postcard size, and there were so many that I loved. Yeah. Okay. Then we did Carcassonne. Oh, no, that's not Carcassonne in that picture. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I thought I had a picture of it. Oh, it's what we're playing here. Hold on. I'm not sure if you can see it. So it's a building an empire kind of map game. Now, there's all different versions of Carcassonne, aren't there? Isn't there? Aren't there? Grammar. And I can't remember which one we had. I haven't played. Sophia wants to know if I played Ex Libris. I haven't yet, but it is most definitely on my list. Nobody at the weekend had it with us. But the number of times I have picked it up and put it back down in the bookstore because it's going to come home with me eventually. Okay, I don't know if you can see the game here. Let's have a look. So do you see like lots of little green squares going together to make a map? So you draw a card and then you have to fit it into a map, and you're creating like an empire, and you get different points for what you can build. Roads, cathedrals. No, it wasn't. We didn't have the cathedral. Churches definitely was a thing. Cities. I feel like I need more background here because board game geeks are going to be like, you are shaming yourself right now. I'm not that level. Because there's all different editions, and I can't quite remember all what I don't remember. I don't know enough. Anyway, that's the idea. You build a bit of land, you claim it, and then you go until an end point, and then you tally up who had the best land grab, basically. Yeah. And then there's a few. So you can keep it really simple. You can overcomplicate it by like trying to build a city that's connected to somebody else's city, and then you have to kind of battle it out for who gets that city, because you'll need to have claimed different parts of it, and whoever claimed the most of it is going to win. Yeah. Okay, so those were the first two we played. Then what else have we played? Okay, so I loved this. This is Sagrada, as in Sagrada La Familia in Barcelona. It's a dice game, but also a maths and colors game. You have a little church window, and you get a pattern to put inside. It will tell you that some squares have to be certain colors. It will tell you that some squares have to be certain numbers, and then they can't go next to each other. So see how my purples and my blues are on diagonals there? Because they can't go side by side. So it can't have 2 5s next to each other or one on top of each other, but they can be on the diagonal. And then you've got extra point cards for like secret little things. Like, so we were all going to get extra points for however many diagonals we could get. But then we also had secret cards to tell us what we were aiming for just on our window, our stained glass window. And mine was how many points you could get on green dies. So I had a 2 here, but all the rest of my greens were 5s and 6s. And that helped my score tremendously. Really enjoyed this one because it was really easy to make a mistake as you got going further. And then you'd look at your board and you'd be like, oh, no, I put 2 3s together and I didn't realize. And you'd have to like work it out. I feel like WB will absolutely love this game, and it would certainly work with just 2 people. And that's important with us because we spend a lot of time like pre-show waiting for things, and so little games that we can take with us and play just 2 people, primo. It's nice to have something that's not just homework for him before the show. So sometimes homework, sometimes a game. So yeah, very, very much love this. It was called Carcassonne. Okay, so we've, no, that's Carcassonne. This is called Sagrada. Sorry, I'm getting confused in my storytelling. That's most definitely not Carcassonne. Sagrada, Carcassonne, Dixit. Okay, what else did we do? Flamecraft. I loved this. Okay, so I'm on the fence about whether I buy Flamecraft because WB and I would love it, but also A, it's very long. B, the third person in our family, it's not the sort of game he likes to play, so we wouldn't play it all that often. So we have this game, Creature Comforts, which we absolutely love, and I'll get back to you about this. But WB and I love it. This group of friends and I love it. I played it with family at last Christmas, I think, or Easter or something. We took it and played all together. So many people rage quit because it kept going and going. And they're like, there's so much on each turn. But I loved it. Okay, so Flamecraft is like that. There's so many things going on when it's your turn. You're going to move your dragon. You're going to take your dragon to a shop. You're going to power up a dragon. You're going to give a gift to any other dragon that's in the shop. There's like, when it's your turn, you're going to do a whole bunch of little things. But then, I enjoy the story of it. So I think you've got to have like a love of story where these are quicker, and I mean there's a slight story element to this, but nothing like this. So this is like questy, adventure-y kind of thing where you're all gonna do a whole bunch of things on each go, and then you're gonna wait for everybody else to have their go. And I think that's the thing that makes people rage quit. If you need to be active in the game at every moment, this is not your game. But it's dragons with shops. I loved it. So that is Flamecraft. Sarah says, have you played Everdell? Jen brought Everdell and we didn't play it. So no, I haven't played Everdell. I want to play Everdell. I feel like it's up my street. Sarah says, artwork and storytelling, gorgeous. Okay. So I really loved this. Also, Flamecraft, the center mat is fabric, and I loved that. I don't know why, but sensory expectations, perfect. Okay, then, what is this? Is this also Flamecraft? Yeah, okay, those are both Flamecraft. And then these two are both Maple Valley, which is, oh, and then there's one more. I was like, how did I know with 9? You didn't, Shimelle. Okay, so this is Maple Valley, which is the secret? Words are hard. Let me start again. This is Maple Valley, which is the sequel. That's the word I was going for. Sequel to Creature Comforts. So Creature Comforts is a game where you are playing an exceedingly cute little animal who is out collecting things to make it through the winter. This is, you are an exceedingly cute little animal who has the run of the forest and some lakes and stuff, and you have to get everything ready for the spring festival. A noticeable difference, but I think it's been a little while since I played Creature Comforts. You have, in addition to your own things that you're playing, like your own little world on your board, you have collaborative stuff that everybody on the board is trying to achieve before the festival by contributing to it. And I don't think that element exists in Creature Comforts to my remembrance. So I liked that element, being able to like get a group goal as well as your own personal goal was a really nice addition. But again, like Flamecraft, you're going to do a lot of stuff on your turn. You're going to send your animal out to all these places. You're going to collect stuff in. You might build something. You might craft something. You might buy something. You might trade for something. And then you're going to wait for everybody else to do all their turns. But it's super cute. Also, my friends are big into Kickstarters. So for both Creature Comforts and Maple Valley, they have wooden pieces. I have cardboard pieces in my Creature Comforts because I did not buy on a Kickstarter. I do really enjoy the wooden pieces. There we go. Okay, and last one we played, which I have to buy. This is WB's getting this for his birthday. Meeple Land. It's theme parks. You got to build your own theme park. So it's called Meeple Land. You get a certain amount of money each round, and then you get different cards to buy different attractions to put in your park. Each attraction will hold certain colors of people, and some of them will only hold certain things if you build something next to it. So for example, this is a Ferris wheel that would hold 2 blue visitors, 1 pink visitor, plus a bonus pink visitor if it was next to a burger bar. So I had to have a path connect to go to a burger bar here. I over here ended up with attractions that would hold bonus people if you had toilets. So I have all these bathrooms on this side of the park. Why not? And then a bus comes up and your people get on, and your people on the bus may not match what you've built. So they may just be stuck at the gate getting angry at you. So those people are going to count against you, whereas all the people who can come in and be happy are going to count for you. Loved it. And it's totally a game that WB will adore because A, cute, B, theme parks. Okay, I think that's everything we played over the weekend. There were a couple games. We each take a couple turns out because there are a lot of games that are like 2 to 4, 2 to 5 players, and we have 6 people there. So I sat out for a couple, but these are all the ones I played. All right, let's scrapbook. Everybody's not into board games is like, what are we talking about? Why have you done this to me? Moving on. Today's random rubbish topic is, So, remember the rest of the kit? Because I haven't used actually any supplies from the kit. I've just been mixed media happiness here. What can we do? So we've got butterflies. I need to sneeze in a second. Sorry. Okay. We've got this cut apart. And this cut apart. Which I did not look at any of the colors before I started making the green background. So, you know, probably now going to be like, what was that for? Yeah, because like, this has potential, but it doesn't fit the theming here. I mean, not that I need board game theming. I just mean like fresh starts and new beginnings. They're old friends. No, it doesn't work. Sophia, Maple Land. Oh, no, not, so the Maple Valley, Meeple Land. Perfect. Oh, Sophia was Googling Maple Land, which apparently is an app with banned users and a scandal. That's not it. Not that. Meeple, M-E-E-P-L-E. People sometimes called Meeple in board games. I don't know where that started, but it's adorable. Okay, and I have these flowers. And I've got this over here. So there's a tiny bit of this left. There's a tiny bit of that left. None of this is making me happy. I feel like we could use some of the butterflies that pick up on the yellows and the greens. So we could do that one. That one. Oh, that one is greener than I thought. Thought it was going to be too blue, but when I put it next to that, it's quite a good match. Okay, so we'll have those 3 butterflies that I'll detail cut in a moment. We could add in some orange frames. Now, these photos are smaller than the frames. Oh, hold on. There's tiny frames. Do they fit in there? What? Yes. Okay. So let's just use those, use all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've got 8 photos. So half of them are going to go in frames, which I'm going to have brown edges on. Oh, that's really good info, Sophia. Sophia says that with Ex Libri, it doesn't matter if people have never heard of the books, and indeed quite a few in her opinion are obscure, and the hilarity just comes from what you come up with. I did wonder about that because it would be a me and WB kind of thing, and I wondered, does he need to have further literary knowledge, or is he far enough along that it would make sense? It sounds like it might already work. I mean, obviously also play with friends sometimes, but this is the special outing rather than the everyday play. WB's favorite games. So what does the 9-year-old like? The 9-year-old likes Creature Comforts, Ticket to Ride, big time Ticket to Ride. He would play Ticket to Ride every day. Patchwork Doodle, which I love as well, which I discovered at our last weekend away. Patchwork Doodle is kind of what he would, if he has to provide the entertainment for a bunch of stage children, it's going to be Patchwork Doodle. And it's really funny because sometimes the other kids will be like, I love it. And they instantly are hooked. And I get messages from their mothers saying, your kid brought a game and my kid wants it. What is it? And then there are other kids who don't enjoy Patchwork Doodle at all. And are like, what, why, what, no, what, how is this supposed to be fun? So Patchwork Doodle is kind of like if you took Tetris and made it into a game, but the opposite of Tetris, because you're not trying to clear everything, you're trying to fill a grid and have no empty squares. See you later, Jean. Yeah, so, yeah. Bum, 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 bum. Which ones are we going to put in frames? Oh, do I have 4 that are just games and 4 that are people? I didn't do that on purpose, but I'm going to use that now. So we're going to put the game shots in the frames. I suppose maybe, oh no, it probably does make better sense to do that because if I put the frames over these, I'm going to lose the people. Perfect. Yeah, so Patchwork Doodle, you draw cards for what shapes you have to fit in your grid, and everybody is going at the same time. So it is good that way, and I think that's one of the reasons that WB likes it as backstage entertainment, because you don't have to wait your turn. Everybody gets to play, and that suits all the kids. And also, if you play something in the dressing room, you're constantly like having people come in and going out. It's a game that you can kind of do that with and just be like, oh, you know, they skipped this round. It's all right. You got to be kind of forgiving with the rules, but you can do it. Okay, so those 4 are going to have that. Excellent. Thank you, 49 at Market. Then, what else can we add in here? So I've still got this bit of orange that I've been cutting up all month. Do they fit on there? They have to fit this way. Let's see how many we can put on. Yeah, so this, what else would he pick other than those 3? Those would be his top 3, I reckon. Patchwork Doodle, Ticket to Ride, and Creature Comforts. What else? He's got a couple that he's getting for his birthday in the spring. So he's going to get Meeple Land. And he's going to get this, oh, what's it called? It's another train-based game, but you're building a track in a different way than Ticket to Ride. Like you're actually drawing a track. So it's more Patchwork Doodle meets trains. I can't think of what it's called. It might be called something like the train line or the railroad or something. I don't know. Right. Yeah. Oh, and he wants to do Zombie Kids, which basically every other family in these photos has done, but we haven't. So I think Zombie Kids is coming up next. So Zombie Kids is a legacy game, meaning that as you go, it's not a game where you play it and then put it back and start over from scratch. Each time you add to the game, you're just building on what you've already played, and it keeps going. I just realized in explaining that to you that there's another game we played that's not in these pictures. Cora Quest, which was adorable. Really adorable. Cora Quest. Kid game, like family game. Kind of like, it's kind of like another Quest game that has Quest in the title, but not Cora. Cora is the girl who came up with the game with her dad. And the artwork is all inspired by kids who sent in artwork to be part of the game during lockdown. Be Still My Heart. It's so freaking cute. So yeah, Cora Quest. That was really good as well. Yeah. Kind of Dungeons and Dragons, but cute kid kind of version. Okay, so I've got, oh, no, I needed one more. One more. Have I got enough on here to do one more? Eep! I'm going to make it work. Might have to overlap a little bit. Let's trim this white as skinny as I can get it. Massacred this piece of paper. Sorry, Vicky, but you know, I used what I bought. Counts for something. Okay, and you need to detail cut these butterflies. Big scissor cutting is my way forward. So that was why it's one of the reasons I was so drawn to Jason's scrapbooking videos, because he uses big scissors. I like big scissors, and I cannot lie. It's true. Yeah. It's not about the size of the scissors. It's about what you can control, what feels like an extension of your hand. So don't think it has to be tiny. I can show you the difference. Let me show you with my teeny tiny scissors. That's not it. Where are they? See, I use them so infrequently, I don't even know where they are. Well, I have a pair here. It's not the pair I was going to show you with. So these are not my teeniest, tiniest ones. But let me detail one that I'm not going to use. Here's the difference. Look what my fingers have to do. Can I control more in teeny scissors that only have room for 2 digits, or this? This is more stable, and that's why I like it. So this, in order to keep the cutting stable, I have to curl all this up so I can't cut for very long before my hand is all cramped up and hurting. And my hands are okay so far in my life. I know that it's not for everybody. Some of you are out there going, I want to scrapbook, but my hands are arthritic, and I want you to scrapbook even though your hands are arthritic. So I want it to be comfortable for you, and that's not comfortable. So there's my little rage about why I don't use tiny scissors. I do have a pair that are extra small than that I use sometimes for things that basically need you to poke at them, because this is not like a super sharp point that I can poke at something. And then I also wanted to show you, if you do have arthritic hands, do I have a pair of them in my desk? There are scissors I beg you to try. Okay, and I don't have them in my desk. Okay, because when I busted up my arm, I could really tell the difference between the two. I had started with these scissors before these were around. Fiskars micro tips, which are the blades are actually very similar size to this, but they're smaller at the ends. That's where the micro tip bit comes from. But they are open, so you're not putting your hand in anything, and there's a spring here. So you're just pushing down on the spring, and then it opens back up, so you're not pulling. If you have arthritic hands or any other sort of hand pain, please, I urge you to go try them. They are a game changer. It's the same sort of concept as this kind of punch rather than this kind of punch. You're only having to squeeze in against a spring, and then it's going to come out for you. It's a lot less pressure. It's lower impact on your hands. You will be able to use them longer without your hands cramping. So that's my second favorite kind of scissors. Okay, so there we go. I'm here to dish out the tips today. Sophia says, I know this is a slightly different thing, but if anyone is interested in computer games that are great to play together with other people, my daughter and I have just done 2 based around language. Excellent. What do we got? We got The Chance of Sinar. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. And Heaven's Vault. Both about language decoding, trying to slowly uncover ancient languages. And the second also has puzzle elements to it. Heaven's Vault has a great story. That sounds lovely. And that'll be, you've played those with your daughter, so older age bracket. Yeah? Teens? Or do you think your younger ones would get into it now that you know what you're doing? What do you reckon? April has been using the spring-loaded scissors since she started scrapbooking, and she's cutting all the time and has no arthritis in her hands just yet. We love it. I like the preventative crafting method. I want to craft my whole life. Please give me tools that will not be high impact on my hands. Thank you. That's why I'm thinking about getting one of those. Oh, okay. We have to take a field trip downstairs. Am I connected to anything? No. Somebody's at the door banging persistently. Please let it not be anything scary. Please don't be like somebody coming to take a statement. No, it's a parcel. We can do that. We can do that. What do we got? Hello.
Hello.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, it's amazing. Okay. It's a story I have to tell you as well. It's not craft supplies, but it's somebody else's craft, sort of. Definitely. Okay. Field trip back up the stairs. Normally I have somebody else in the house on a Friday, but I don't today. Right, okay. Where were we? Oh goodness. Oh, I can't remember what we were saying. Oh no. Okay. So the reason the parcel is not my craft, but someone else's craft. So both one of the friends that's in this picture and WB's school, they love a themed dress up occasion, sometimes to a laughable amount. And so her kid recently had you have to dress like an Anglo-Saxon and come to school and do Anglo-Saxon activities for history. And she was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to come up with a costume. And happened to walk into a charity shop and there was a handmade Anglo-Saxon costume sitting right there that clearly somebody had done for last year's school dress up. And then they donated it so that somebody else could use it. So her kid got it, did his dress up day, and she was like, right, so I'm going to send it back to the charity shop. so that somebody else can get it for the next time they do Anglo-Saxon dress up and hopefully make their day. And then guess what note we got home that day? Anglo-Saxon dress up. So I went, hold on. Can I be your charity shopper? Because we got to do Anglo-Saxon dress up. And yeah, let's do a sensible choice, because usually my choice is sewing at midnight the night before. So let's use someone else's midnight sewing. Maybe they were organized and didn't sew at midnight, but I like to think that they're like me and they were also sewing at midnight, because that's when they sew. And even though the sewing machine makes a noise that keeps everyone awake, I still enjoy sewing in the middle of the night. So a couple times a year, mostly the night before World Book Day, they have to deal with it. Oh my goodness, World Book Day request this year is insane. Okay, moving on. So she brought it to me at the weekend, and then I left it there. Whoops. So another friend who was the last person to check out, I suddenly remembered, I'm like, please tell me you haven't left. And she's like, I haven't left, and I checked your cupboard in your room. Can you please send it to me? So she did. So that's what's there. Someone else's handicraft that has been through several children, and I will donate it on once I'm done, or WB is done, and I will certainly have photos of him dressed as an Anglo-Saxon to Scrapbook, so you'll get to see it. It's all good. Right. Sophia came back with an update on the video game age. It needs a slightly older player, just because some of the puzzle solving in the first game is a little tricky, and they might find the whole language decoding a little tedious. Our older boy is very interested, but I think he'd enjoy them more if he waits a couple years, perhaps. Cool. Anna found a bunch of Never Grow Up and Field Trip, and now has a full shelf full of Shimelle scrapbooking supplies. Amazing. We're happy for you. Excellent find. Hello, Alice. Oh, Sarah wants to know, why is World Book Day insane? I am working on a whole project around World Book Day at the moment. Okay, so WB, if you don't know, I mean, in case you haven't guessed from this dramatic child, he loves World Book Day, and I love World Book Day. So every year I don't make him hold back. I say, right, what do you want to be? And do you have like specifics about how you want it to look? And I go with it. But I started this when he was 3. He's 9 and now has, West End costumes. So his expectations have stepped it up a bit. So he wants to be a character called Oculus Nocturne, who is from the Nothing to See Here hotel books. Now, the sewing part is easy. It's a cloak. I could do that in my sleep. All right, sewing, done. I mean, I have made a Sherlock cape to be Basil of Baker Street at midnight the night before World Book Day. And no, I did not even do anything prep other than buy the fabric and the pattern before that. So yeah, this is what I normally do. Cloak, fine. Oculus Nocturne also involves, number 1, a plaster of Paris mask that has to be made to fit his face, apparently, and then painted. So I can't do that at midnight because it's going to take time. It's going to take patience, and I don't know where he thinks I get that, but we'll try and find it in a charity shop, I tell you. So, yeah, we got to make a plaster of Paris mask to fit his face, but it gets worse. Are you ready? Here's the insane part. It requires an animatronic bird. Okay, it's out. That's what my child has requested. A cloak, a plaster of Paris mask, and an animatronic bird. And the thing is, I don't want to say no. I want to say, yes, we can do that. So you know what I did? Yes, we can do that. Do I know how to do that? Hell no. All right, moving on. Oh, it's going to be an adventure. We're going to figure it out. Now, speaking of figuring things out, I got to figure out how to put all these on the page, and then what else we're going to do here. What if they went higgledy-piggledy like this? Why plaster of Paris? I don't know how else to make that kind of mask. It's like a molded thing. There's probably like latex and metal crafters who know better ways to do it, but I only know plaster of Paris way. Oh, because now it kind of looks like game pieces. Like building stuff. Does it? I don't know. I feel like maybe it needs to be more even though. What do we think? More even? Okay, so mixed media talk again. You can tell now, once I start piling stuff on top of this, that my background paper is warped. Oh, Kelly says, when is World Book Day and how much time we have? It's the first week of March. So I've got a month. Kelly thinks I can get a bird on Amazon. So I think I might end up having to like get an animatronic something and then kind of customize it. Kelly points out Amazon shopping, not the rainforest. I'm really glad that you clarified. I mean, I want to say I have no limits, but going to South America and finding an animatronic bird in the jungle, I do have limits. We just found it. That's my limit. Make sure WB does not request that. Okay, having looked away and laughed and now come back, I like this. Okay, so we're going to do that. And we're going to put some vellum behind it. Amy has gone into class, right? So I can tear some vellum without, like, fear. Sorry if Amy comes back to the replay or if she's setting up her classroom. Sandra says, how about a costume hire shop? Are you kidding me? That's not allowed. No, it is allowed. But in WB's world, like, you have to understand that, yes, the child is creative and demanding, but also I live for World Book Day. Okay, so I say it's insane and I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I will enjoy every single second of it. So you have to kind of understand where I come from with this. Oh, Amy's here! Amy, I thought you were in class! Amy doesn't like want to tear paper. Okay, Amy, just pretend I cut it into just a normal rectangle. I just tore it out of the paper and then it was fine. I'm not doing this. I'm not, no. Because I don't want to upset you before you go teach all day. No. I'm not tearing anything. You made that up. If you saw me tear paper, no, you didn't. It's all right. I'm not doing a very good job at it anyway. Sandra says she used to own a costume hire shop. It's okay. I say that jokingly, okay? Please, please, please. I could own a costume hire shop in another lifetime, and I would be a woman of bliss, I tell you. I very much enjoy this bit of costuming. And I enjoy the mad challenges of it all. Okay, there was one bit here that was straight, and I was trying to find where it was. All four sides. I'm sorry, Amy! Okay, I'm done. Yeah, Sophia's got it right now. See, you say WB is creative and demanding, but you can't pretend you haven't trained that into him since he was eeny weeny teeny. I have done this to myself, folks. Absolutely correct. Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to stick these to the vellum. So we're going to go up and down. Could I build the bird out of those Legos that move? Beatrix, you're a genius. I hadn't thought about Lego. And of course we have the Lego robot set. Of course we do. So you can like make your Lego creation come to life. We do. You can even like program it. Amy, I made it too tall. So I'm just warning you now in case you want to turn me off that I I'm going to make one more tear along here. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I did them kind of less higgledy-piggledy, did I? No, I think it's going to look right once they're all done. Because some in frames, some not. Oh, well, Beatrix used to be a costume designer. Amazing. See? We got a costume shop. We got a costume designer. We got Amy searching Amazon and finding an animatronic parrot. Amazing. Yeah. We're all in it. So usually I don't tell you, but this year I have told you, and I don't have any regret of that because that was hilarious. All right. Sorry, Amy. Okay, one more and then I'm done because I just want this bottom edge. Done. No more tearing. Okay, so that's going to sit on there. We've got butterflies. Did I not ink one of them? Krista is reorganizing her craft room because she can't find her Never Grow Up collection. Oh, bless you. Do you know somewhere when we get to the end of everything that, you know, like you move and then you still have boxes and then they just get tucked away? Somewhere I have a big stack of a big stack of Vicky B papers, because when I did my paper shelf in here, the Vicky B stack was like 3 sheets of paper, and I don't know why. So somewhere I've got a box of Vicky papers, and one day I'm going to find them and then be like, woohoo, I now have some sort of special event. Okay, so this has a big open spot, so we're going to do one there. The others don't have open spots, so they're a little harder. I mean, there's an open spot there, there's an open spot here. I don't really want to do 2 corners like that. It's a bit too extreme. But I could make this work and put the title in here. So where can the third one go? Oh, I remember what I was talking about now when the door went. I was talking about the warped paper. Oh, brain, you're a funny old thing. So the warped paper. Yes, you can work on top of it as long as it's dry. You can flatten it first if working on top of it is not a and it's not a problem. Like if you're not enjoying the sensory experience of working on warped paper, then flatten it first. And you're going to flatten it by not overthinking it. You're going to put it underneath heavy stuff. Put it underneath a big stack of books for a week. It's fine. Okay? Or you can flatten it after you make the page if this does not bother you. Make your page, make sure everything is stuck well, put it in a page protector. If you've got more layers, you probably don't want to put it under heavy books at that point. But what you can do is put something in the back of the page protector or between 2 layouts in the page protector that's going to hold it snug and tight and it will flatten with time. Like when you get your order from scrapbook.com, and I'm guessing quite a few other shops, you get this bit of chipboard that keeps it safe. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Speaking of keep it safe, not what I'm doing right there. Okay, so this is my my kit for next month, and it comes with that bit of chipboard. So you could put that in the page protector. It doesn't have to go there permanently. It can just go there for a little while until it flattens out. So you've got different ways to do that. But putting it in the page protector is going to flatten it out quite a fair bit anyway. Okay. Aren't we glad that my brain bounced back to that? No, not really. What are we going to do title-wise? So my letter stickers this month look like this. And I believe I'm out of E's, so I can't even write the word game. So the yellow and the aqua would go quite well, but I don't know that there's anything I can spell, despite the fact that the colors would work. Sophia says, pro tip, buy more Vicky paper and you'll find your old paper. Oh, I know where my Vicky paper is. Sorry, I haven't like lost the Vicky paper. I do lose things all the time, but Vicky paper, I know where it is. But yes, I agree with this tip. Buy more of it and you'll find the old one. It worked with my cutting mat after I lost it for a year, and then I found it with a week of buying a new one. That's why I haven't ordered a new phone case. Maybe I just need to order a new phone case, and then I'll find it. My clear phone case that is lost in this room somewhere and leading me to be paranoid about my phone all the time. Okay, also, can somebody tell me why, now that I'm paranoid, I have not dropped my phone? And the old phone, in the last 6 months of my old phone, I must have dropped it 5 times. It was like it would just not attach to my hand anymore, even though I had a little ring and all of that. I somehow still managed to smash it up multiple times. In fact, I smashed it up, had it repaired, and managed to smash it in again within 24 hours. I was not proud of myself. I was broke as a result of how many phone screens I had to buy. And I got really embarrassed because you know how you can put like almost everything onto your phone now. So like all the cards that I have to swipe and stuff at different places, they're all on my phone so I don't have to carry them around. This is brilliant for me because carrying around a bunch of different cards, nope, I'm going to lose them. So I love that. Until I smashed my phone to the point where I couldn't use any buttons, so I couldn't open the card I wanted, and I had to show at the front desk to be like, can you zap me in? Because this is my card, but I can't. And the lady on the desk just looked at me and said, well, why did you do that? Like I did it on purpose. No. Okay. I don't think... Is there a title in here? I've got no R's left. I can't spell board or game. Is there any title I can make that does not involve board or game? What would you write if you were not using any... What's a board gaming title that doesn't use the word board or game? I can't do friends because I've got no E's. Can I do even one word? Can I do like night? N-I-G-H. Got no T's. Can't do night. I could use a Scrabble cheat and see what words it comes up with and see if we can twist any of them in. You ready? Gaming session. Oh, could I do just gaming? G-A-M-I-N-G. I can do gaming. Well, figured out. Okay, I'm going to organize them on my hand. See if I can just alternate the colors. Well done. Thank you, Sophia. Oh, and Sarah says I can do play. That would have been a good one as well. Amy's just getting me back for vellum by suggesting game time, which I can't spell either of those words. Because I've got no T's and no E's. All right, what was I up to? M. It works alternating! Amazing! All right, these are not stuck yet, so don't... That was just a reminder to myself. They're not stuck yet. Okay, then I'll use other... other letters for the second part. I think I'm going to do gaming our way, and then that gives me an in to the storytelling. Does that make sense? Gaming our way? As in, like, if somebody says gaming, this might not be what they imagine, but this is what we would imagine. Okay, could I do our way in these little gold letters or something? What have I got? It's almost like Amy's doing it deliberately. Deliberately. Oh, Amy, that was well played. Well played. Okay, what about these green letters? Oh. But do we not like the... Oh, actually, the mint and the real green, they both work. This is from an old kit years ago, I reckon. Amy T. And I put them in a kit and then barely used them for some reason. I don't like it when that happens. It's not my favorite. Uncoated cardstock on foam. The only thing I don't like about this title is now it makes me sing My Way, the Frank Sinatra song, and I don't actually like that song. I don't know why. Clearly at some point in my life it's been played in a circumstance that has some sort of negative connotation, and I don't remember the situation. I just remember the song, because anytime I hear it, I'm like, oh no. But that's my way, not our way. Okay, so this butterfly is heading over here. And let's do this side flat and the other side popped. And for some reason my phone is buzzing like mad, so I'm hoping it's just somebody, you know, like maybe it's Cassie sending me hilarious memes, and it's not somebody getting angry, and it's not like your kid is sick at school. Let's go with it's Cassie sending me a bunch of funny videos. Let's go with that. Okay. So recently I stopped using this special anti-buzz filter because you guys told me one day when I forgot to put it on that it didn't actually affect the video, because I had always done it because I thought it would affect the video. You said it didn't. And often I have problems because I'll turn it on and then I'll forget to turn it back off and I'll miss a call that I needed to take, and ugh. So I stopped using it, but now I have to go back to using it because now I realize it might not affect the quality of the technical video, so to speak, but it definitely affects the quality of the video presenter, who then thinks, why are you buzzing? What's going on? So I'm going to go back to turning it off next week. Have we had a discussion about the January magazine thing after it came out? Did I tell you about the glue stick? All right. So I wanted there to be like 3 mixed media things here, and I've done 2. We've done the inky background and we've done the stenciling. So I want to do something else before we're done. Just throwing mist is probably not, it probably doesn't count. Okay, here. But what else can we tuck in? Because there's just not enough more happening here at all. Okay, so we got lots of phrase stickers here. We can have makes me happy. We can have, would that blue work? Yeah, so we've got kind of a green, yellow, blue color scheme happening here. I want one of those yellow ones, but none of those phrases work. So let's move over here. Oh, There's only one yellow. It's take note. So that's what it's going to be. It's going to be take note. Okay. Let's put these 3 in first, and then we'll figure out what else can go in. So brown booper. So this already has blue. I want the yellow to come up here. This already has green, so I want the blue over here. And this already has yellow, so let's put green over here. Now, what about moving this butterfly up? Which it's on foam tape. No, it came up all right. Okay. So we've got a butterfly and a phrase sticker in 3 different places. If you didn't want to write straight onto a mixed media background like this, number 1, if you are going to write straight onto your mixed media background, test your pen. So what I mean is find a place where you can pick it up, test your pen, because that way you won't test it in the most obvious place and then be like, oh no, it did not look like what I imagined, or it scraped or anything like that. Test it back here. Okay. If you can't get your pictures off because you use super duper strong adhesive, just ink a scrap as you go so that you've got something where you can test it, or do it before you glue the stuff down. Okie dokie, what else can we add in? So we could do a little floral in each of those spots. I think I can make that work because of the vellum. So although I had to traumatize Amy to make it happen, I haven't traumatized her for no reason. The vellum is now going to serve the excellent purpose of softening the florals. So see how this floral has like a horizontal? I don't want that. So we're going to put it upside down. And there's only one flower there that really has direction, so that's the one I'm going to cover up. And you don't have to cover it up entirely. You just have to cover it up enough that it doesn't seem to have a direction anymore. Okay? Then I can take another one. Oh, Sophia likes how this is turning out. Yay! I will say part of the process with making mixed media backgrounds is that you may well go through a phase where you're like, oh, this is just going to be a mess and I should throw it away now. Don't. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. If you just read that on subtitles, the don't has a full stop after. Yes? Don't throw it away. Do keep going. I have another floral behind the vellum up there, and then a floral behind the vellum over here. This butterfly is quite big. So I'm going to use this big sticker, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be overwhelming because a lot of it is going to get covered up. Say it with me. You can't layer if you don't cover stuff up. I know. It makes you sad sometimes when you cover up something that's actually quite pretty. But it's just part of the game. Okay, butterflies and flowers, they go together. So we got those bits together. Oh, I think I know what I could use for the third mixed media thing. So it's going to be glittery. Are we okay with that? Should we have some glitteriness? Okay, what else can go in here? A label in each one. So now, I like all 3 of these, but I haven't, there's a tiny bit of pink. Oh, go on, Shimelle. I want 3 matching labels. You could do 3 different labels, but within the same colors if you prefer. Sophia says mixed media is often like that. Art, journaling, abstract art, anywhere. There was a lady years ago who would always say you got to work through the uglies. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so this bit has not a lot of yellow, a little bit of yellow. Let's put the yellow one in here. I don't want it so crooked, and I don't want it that wide. Pink to this corner. This butterfly is like, when are you going to stop picking me up? Never, never, darling. Only when you're in the album. I kind of want to pick up the flower too. Hold up. That's harder. Not impossible though. If you're gonna layer, you gotta cover things up. I'm just saying. Last one. No, I don't like that. And I want this one to actually be like my date box or something. So maybe it ends up more like this. Yep, but not crooked. You could put the flower on top here if you prefer, but I'm going to write on this one, so I'm going to put it like that. Okay, we get a label in each section. We need some confetti. Interestingly, if you have both sets, the 12 by 12 sticker sheet and the sticker book from the same collection in Simple Stories, and the colors are always more saturated on the cardstock ones than the paper ones. Only just a little bit, but it's because of the paper stock. This just holds color more. Right. Now, I used up all the enamel dots from the original kit, didn't I? So I can go with whatever I decide to grab from my stash. So I have the green ones out because I've used a whole gazillion of them for Christmas. What do I have left? Not a huge amount. That's an option. I know. My own advice is as soon as you find something that could work, use that. But I'm not sure in terms of number if it could work. The colors, yes. But I feel like I'm very low in numbers. Oh, this is a little different. Okay, so not all of these colors, but just the orange and the olive green. What if we did that? Oh, let's not make that one a circle. Let's do all hearts. Because we love it. Oh, hold on. Is brown going to be weird here? No, it's kind of nice. Okay. It's like the most un-Shimelle choice ever, but I like it. And what? I got to alternate through now, so I'm going to find what I need. The olive there, and then the orange is going to be small and polka dotted. Then to this one, that means the big heart on this one is brown. And the round one is orange. And then green polka dot. For my third little trio, straighten up there. Come on. I know you're like, Shimelle, just learn how to use tweezers. But the thing is, it looks like I'm having a hard time, but I actually enjoy that little bit. Hello, Barbara in St. Louis. Okay, so the journaling is going to be handwritten on top of this. There's also going to be gold, and there's going to be glitter, and then we're done. What are my glittery options? Have I got like gold stickles? Got green stickles. Gold. We got them. Okay, let's bring in the stencil I decided not to use. And a little brush. Okay. So we're going to do the mist first. In the same three places. Areas of embellishment. Yes. If you wrote a musical about my scrapbooking, there would be a number called Areas of Embellishment. It would be a song with 3 verses. Okay, then last bit of mixed media, which is going to make it hard for me to do the journaling on this today, but I'll do it another time. Okay, remember how I said, should I show you how to do the stencil, how I would do it, or how you should do it? Will I write on the oxides? Yes, I will write on the oxides. If you don't have a pen that you like on top of the oxides, you could always write on vellum or a journaling card and put it over the top. Okay, so gold glitter onto a brush. So this is like glitter glue, but you know, stickles. Because we have to have a brand name that's fancier than glitter glue. Okay, I'm going to pick up the first letter here and put it back over the top because I want it to disappear behind that letter. So I'm just going to temporarily remove that. And I'm going to come back and stickle through the stencil and then realize that that brush isn't stained. That brush has oxides in it for some weird reason. And so my glitter is also going to go a little bit pink. We're going to deal with it. Okay, so the thing about glitter glue is now, the pink is actually going to be more obvious than the glue, than the gold glitter at the moment. Sorry, not the glue, the gold glitter. So don't move your stencil yet. You kind of got to get more sparkly than you think. Because you want, well, I do. I want the design to show up. I don't want it to just be a clump of glitter. I want it to have that stencil triangle that I'm going for here. So just be patient and layer it up. I'm also trying to use the same side of the brush so I don't add in more pink ink from the other side because Past Me was silly and didn't rinse the oxides out of that brush. Okay, so just going back over the same areas to layer up the glitter. Now, kind of like it to disappear underneath here. I'm just going to take that to the edge of the vellum. I think I'm going to do one more layer of glitter before I stop and remove the stencil. Eee! Okay, the pink was a very happy accident. I love it. Look at that. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, I did it once. I need to do it again. But I'm not going to do 3. I'm just going to come up to this top corner up here. I'm going to stick this stencil underneath there. And here we go again. But now I do want to use the other side of the brush so that I can make it the same as over there. I have to make the happy accident again on purpose. Try to line that stencil up. Have it disappear behind the vellum. Oh, this stencil reminds me of the bit of Epcot where Figment is and where there used to be the Figment meet and greet. With the proper Figment meet and greet with Dreamfinder and rainbows. You know, Figment of my childhood. I only went to Epcot once as a kid, but I was there for the grand opening. We won a trip on the radio. Because I did Florida twice as a child, well, Orlando twice as a child. But the first time was before Epcot opened. So there was only Magic Kingdom. And then the second time was when we went our family trip on the radio, and we went to Epcot grand opening as well as Magic Kingdom. And it's really weird how, even though I only went the once, there are certain elements of that place and the architecture that are just in my brain. And now, when I see them, I'm like when they're rebuilding Epcot, I'm really understanding the whole resistance to things like that, because I don't like it when it's too different. But except we have to change. Okay, so I wanted to put this in a different place so you could see how it was going to look on top of more ink versus this one is more on the white and the pink is clearer. This one is layered on top of 2 different shades of ink. But it's still pretty clear. It's just not as obviously pink as that one, which does read as rose gold. And this one is rose gold, but kind of disguised a little bit, camouflaged a little bit. It's just not quite as obvious. Let's put that O back on now before I forget. Okay, so I got a lot to let dry now. It won't take that long, actually. So I'm going to let the glitter all dry. I won't write over the glitter. That does trash your pens. So that's why I put this to the side here, and then I'm going to just start the journaling right in here. It's going to go right over the top. Date's going to go here. And I think that's it. So a little zoom in. So you got this corner up here. Over here. More open corner here. Title. A little bit more stenciling, and then that bottom section is going to have writing over the top with a black pen. I might even test. I got a new journaling pen. Did you get this when you did your last scrapbook.com order? She says, getting a brand new pen she's never used and being like, I'll just write over the top of inks with it. This is why I mean test what you get. Test your pens. But I was curious. I do love to try a new pen. So scrapbook.com I've got a glitter brush marker that was the freebie that day, but I'm pretty sure that's purple. I think that is the color. But then they have a new ink roller pen for journaling. Oh, yeah, it's a very smooth kind of thing. I'll do a little bit more in depth with that coming up because I put that in next month's kit. So there we go. Right, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed me going crazy, if you're going to try any of these mixed media, super easy, impatient ideas, any of this sort of stuff, if you enjoyed it, you want to give it a thumbs up, that would be super duper. It helps lots of things and I appreciate it very much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Here is an extra special heart for you. And I will be live again on Monday at 1:30 p.m. UK time. Right. I think that's everything. Fabulous. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great one. See you soon. Bye-bye.